I'm Matt, and welcome to Basically Correct EDC. In my first video, I talked about the idea of making the complicated simple. And I highlighted one product in particular, the Olight iMini 2 flashlight that I keep on my keys. And it occurred to me that while I say right there in the description that I'm not going to do pocket dumps, and I'm not, I thought it might help to get a broader context for the totality of what I do tend to carry on a daily basis. So I'm going to run that down pretty quickly. This isn't a product review. This isn't anything. This is just getting a sense of overall what I think of as making the complicated simple in my everyday carry. So I have my wallet. It's one of those. It's a clone. Of one of the more expensive ones, but it's a aluminum, pop-up wallet deal with the cash strap. It is RFID blocking. I did put in the Ugreen tracker card for Apple Find My, because I want to find my wallet if it's lost. Hopefully, I do have, as we talked about in my first video, the keys. I use the FEGV titanium belt clip, and I love this one because it's got the dedicated hole there for a key ring, but then it's also got the little carabiner, so you can add things in different sections. What I'll tend to do with that is, this set of stuff, my fob, the little pry tool, opener, keys, flashlight, that's always on there. But if I need to add my charger, I can just clip that right on there. I also have my keychain multi-tool, which I'll get into in a second. I can also stick that on there if I want to, carry around a huge dangling chunk of crap in my pocket. But, point is, it works. It's still pretty simple, right? My palm clip pepper spray. This is not the only self-defense item I carry. I'm not really going to get into that part of my EDC on this channel very much. It's not something that, it's concealed for a reason, right? I don't need everybody to know exactly what's going on, right? Whether it's just walking around or here on this channel. And I know it can be kind of polarizing. I have my reasons. And it's a fairly recent thing for me. So, but, I don't get into the politics of stuff, at least not here. That's not what we're here to do. But I do believe at the very least, everybody should carry something, So the palm pepper spray is great. If you don't know how to fight, and if you're not willing to or comfortable with something more substantial, at least your pepper spray, because the whole idea is in any kind of confrontation, the best fight is the one you don't have, but you need to create space. You want to get away. That's really the goal, is to not have the fight in the first place. So palm pepper spray, it's fantastic. It's really affordable. 3-pack for like $30. I've carried a lighter basically since I was a kid, whether I'm smoking or not. I just think it's good. I live in an urban environment. I live in downtown in a mid-major metropolitan area. I lived in New York City for years, Brooklyn, a couple different areas, worked in Manhattan. I'm not out there bushcrafting, but I just think it's good to have a lighter on you. You can make friends with a lighter, and in keeping with my theme, I have the matte black Zippo. I have my little inexpensive little pocket knife. It's just a Felissa, little deal there, little drop point. Again, black. It is a thumb lock, which I like those. It's more comfortable for me. And I don't know if most people like this, but if I have a sharp implement in my hand, I'm pretty much guaranteed to cut myself. So usually on the day-to-day, this is newer. I have the Rovivon E30 Angel Eyes. I'm not as happy with this as I feel like I should be. It was my first flat flashlight. It's great in the pocket, but The reversible pocket clip seems like a cool idea, but it tends to want to come off. And also just the operation of it. I like that the control buttons are on the end, more like a tactical light, but they're so close in a hurry. I feel like this is harder to operate. Like you might hit the strobe instead of the on, and it's just, I like it. It's nice and bright, but it just seems like and for a flat flashlight, my hand tends to want to go like this, not like this. So I'll kind of alternate between that and my now discontinued Nightcore. It's the MH11. Not nearly as bright. I think it's 1200 lumens, but gosh, I'm walking around downtown. I don't need to illuminate the whole block, right? And it does feel very good. It does have, the tactical switch on the thumb switch on the end. It will stand up on the tail. And again, this one's very, very simple. It's got three different modes. It stays wherever you left it, which I like. This seems to me to be more in line with how I want to use a flashlight. But it just kind of depends. So I rotate between the two. Let's get into my EDC pouch. One thing I don't want to forget, I talk about keeping things simple, and then I carry black things. I always carry a handkerchief. I've done that since I was a kid. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother, and there were certain kind of old school gentlemanly things that my grandmother taught me. She taught me how to take a can opener and use the pointy end and score up, crosshatch the bottom of a new pair of dress shoes so that they're not slippery. My grandmother taught me how to shave. She also taught me to always have a handkerchief. So, of course, I carry a black handkerchief. Thanks, Grandma. So, let's look at my EDC pouch. It's probably a little thicker than I ideally would want, but it's got what I need in there. So, you kind of have to make a decision. It's not terribly heavy, so it's fine. I'll stick this in my back pocket, or if I'm carrying my bag, I might put it in there, whatever. I don't always include the utility knife. Depends on where I'm going. This one usually gets by. It's the O-Knife Otical Mini that I apparently don't know how to work. There we go. See what I mean? Sharp stuff. I will cut myself. I will screw it up, guaranteed. And nice little knife. Gets the job done. You can use the whole surface for cutting. It's pretty cool. And I have my Smoother Pro aluminum bolt action combination pencil or pen and pencil. Pretty nice. Flip it over real quick just because it relates. If you have a pencil, you have to have an eraser. So I do the Pentel little click eraser. That's fun. And of course a Sharpie. Always got to have a Sharpie. A different kind of pen. You know what this is. This is the Atomic Bear Rebel. Always have to have the capability for a little bit of havoc. If you know, you know. Little sparrows, latch slipper. We'll get to that in a second. This could be anything. I carry the field notes because I got a special and they were black and stuff. I also like the moleskin, whatever. It's just, I think it's really important, even with a phone, to keep your pen and pencil notebook on you, writing things down. Plus, like I said with the handkerchief, I think there's just something respectable and dignified about handwriting notes. Maybe that's me. I mean, yeah, I'm Gen X, but so I'm just on the cusp of being an old guy. But again, just very simple. So take a look at this. Now this can also be added to my keys. I have another one of the magnetic little, dailies there. You can just pop right off. Yes, I do use titanium key rings. Whoopity-doo. But I love these because they're the side push. So, you just push it instead of trying to dig in there with your thumbnail, which sucks. Everybody knows that. So this is the tool-oriented portion of the keyring stuff that I will also stick in here. You know, the Uncle Bill's. Of course, I have the black ones, the silver grippers, the gear spool, mighty bar, pry bar. I was not a pry bar person. I wasn't convinced. But then I learned that it's to do things that you shouldn't do with your knife. And I don't need a big honking thing. I'm just scraping stuff or, you know, I don't know, whatever. So, and I bought this one specifically because of a really funny video that Gear Spool did. And I'll link it down below. And that's what convinced me to buy this one. It could have been anything. I mean, it wasn't very expensive and it's, you know, whatnot fits on the keys, but the video made me laugh so hard that I thought, okay, I'm going to reward that with my money. And I have and I'm not going to get into the whole shebang, but you know, it's the Next Tool mini flagship. Y'all know what these are. Come on, man. But I will say that it's really the scissors for me. You know, these for a mini little keychain multi-tool, these scissors are huge. You can get a good grip on them. They're nice and sharp. And you know, it has a few other little things, the little driver and whatever, but the scissors and the little spring-loaded pliers, that's really what it's about for me. And also, while it's not black, it does come in dark. So, close enough, right? I do use the Max Edition Platy 4x6. It's nice. I took the lanyard thing off. I don't care. Zipper pull, cool. So, I have my ear protection. I use the Axle. These go with my other implement. These are good for sudden loud noises. There are two different tips, you know, one for that use and then one for more general, like you're going to a concert, whatever. Being a musician, I'm around a lot of music, and I was too cool for earplugs, standing with a drummer right to my left for way too long. So I tend to have some issues. So I keep earplugs now. Now, I have my little, what I call my, and I have a few of these, they're everywhere, my don't have a fit kit, okay? Little tin, and I've got some nicotine pouches, I've got some nicotine gum, just regular gum, and the little breath strips in there, but, you know, it's my own little dirty habit, and I don't need to inflict it on everyone else, but, you know, just because I want one and can't have one, that doesn't give me a license to be, you know, an asshole. So I have my don't have a fit kit. Now, this is something that I love the idea, again, keep making the complicated simple. This is about probably 6 feet of aluminum foil. Now, this is an old military thing. I'm not a veteran, but I you know, I've been around a lot of veterans, you know, military family. Bushcrafting, they would say, like, okay, you can make a fire in this. You can whatever. I mean, you can mold it into a cup. You know, you can cook something in it, whatever. Dude, I'm downtown, okay? Let's say I'm out somewhere and I have some leftovers or something. I can use the foil and put it in there. But relevant to this, here's what it does. All the other stuff that's in this back pouch, the foil keeps it all together and separate. Keeps it from rolling around and falling out when I open it to get a nicotine pouch or my earplugs. See there? Making the complicated simple. And it cost about, what, half a cent, right? So, again, being the Gen X guy, middle-aged dude, you know, little magnifying lens, pretty cool. I need some black sleeves for these. Lens wipes, hair ties and safety pins, about, you know, it's probably about 3-4 feet of duct tape, black, and about 3 feet of electrical tape. And I always do I fold a little notch there so you can grab it. You know, the what do you call it? It sticks to itself. It doesn't leave residue. It's great. Electrical tape. Carry some. It's good stuff. You know, fix a mic cable or an instrument cable with it. You know, whatever. You know, some butt wipes, whatever. And then, my little boo-boo stuff. I've been proudly mostly causing, but then fixing boo-boos since 1974. So, I got some burn cream, and this is really in order. I need to probably put this in a little bag. Some various size bandages, antibiotic ointment, alcohol pad, antiseptic wipe, sting relief, and then, just stuff that, again, I'm not hiking the Appalachian Trail down here. I'm walking on the sidewalk downtown, so I'm not likely to be mauled by wildlife. Well, you never know, but usually it's the humankind, and that's what the other stuff's for. And then I have these. I keep a little set of. I like these little flat nail clippers. They came from a set that I'm not even going to mention the brand. Actually, I will. I got for a while back as a gift that Manscaped, set. I'm going to tell you something. It's a freaking lie. That shit will cut your balls, your ball bag, so bad. They sponsored every damn podcast in the world. It's a lie. They lie to you. Okay? Trust me, I'm a hairy dude. Those things, evil. But they had a little manicure kit in there and these nice little flat nail clippers. So, hooray. Cool. So that's really it, man. I mean, I'm downtown. I'm doing my thing. So that's really all I need. And I don't always even carry this. I'm not going to carry it when I'm walking the dog. Don't need it. So, and then it's actually being shot on this, but I just carry the iPhone 17. I don't have the Pro Max. I don't need all that. So, again, making the complicated simple. It's a pretty good little kit. Fits in here very nicely. It's light. And most importantly, I enjoy it and it's relevant to me. So there you have it. With some rotation, there's my basic everyday carry. I generally keep my coffee tumbler with me. It's the Voyager Golden Record, if you're familiar, and a space dork like I am. Good black coffee, just black like my heart. And in keeping with the theme of making the complicated simple, the soundtrack for today, it'll be linked down below, is The Police, Ghost in the Machine from 1981. And in particular, the first song on side one, Spirits in the Material World. Now, I am a musician. I play a lot of different instruments, primarily bass. So I pay attention to the drums. And the reason I picked Spirits in the Material World, if you know music at all, you listen to that song, the thing you'll notice is there is no one. There is no downbeat until they hit the chorus. But the majority of the song, everything is on the upbeats. And that song will destroy any drummer or a lot of other people trying to cover that song. It's ridiculous. Listen to it. Check it out. There is no one. Everything is up. And not like in a reggae, ska kind of way where there's still that. There's still that strong one. Spirits in the Material World doesn't have that. It is so complicated and off-putting. But yet I think it was the second single off of that record, which was a very brave choice, very odd choice. So check that out and really listen to it and try to, even if you're not a musician, I mean, you can dance, you listen to music. Even if you dance poorly, you can still dance. Find that one, like James Brown, Funk Lives on the One. Well, there's no one there. So that was Stewart Copeland, genius, making the complicated simple. Thanks for watching. Be well. I'm Matt, and this is Basically Correct EDC. I'm myself and knowledge, and a pencil and case, and play that